Alright, everyone, let's watch and see who says the truth and how far advanced medicine is nowadays. Now, here you go with a case study of an illness. Might be former Ukrainian president and consequently many more. So, in the Middle Ages, this was a huge problem because this was what was called leprosy. It was even mentioned in the Bible, not only in the Middle Ages, and in the diseases of ancient Indian doctors. But it most took its toll in the Middle Ages in Europe. This was beginning with purple spots on the skin, on the face, in the hands, and on the shoulders. And then they turned it into knots, and then those turned into huge ulcers that were rotting. The face of those who suffered with leprosy started to look like that of a lion that was very angry. At the same time, there was huge damage to the nerve system. The body of the person who had that leprosy illness, he didn't feel any pain anymore. Even if he was touched by the melting iron and his meat was on fire and in smoke. This also leads to becoming an invalid and to becoming blind. This, they say, it's caused by mycobacteria. People who had this disease, they were removed from the society, and they were having burial services in the church for them because they were considered to be dead. They were put into some kind of isolation leprosarium. Those who were ill with it could not work, could not inherit anything. They could only beg. They received black dress, hat with white ribbon, and this and the ribbon where there were ringing so that nobody, and the bell they were ringing that so that no people would know that they were approaching. They were not allowed to enter the city only during certain days. Nobody was safe from it. Ancient Japan, ancient Egypt, Greece, Mecca, Ethiopia. So anyways, this is extremely infectious disease. It was called Phoenician disease, lazy death. So this is Yushenko, whom British scientists claimed was poisoned with dioxin. So this is how he said the face started to look like impenetrable mask that is called face of a lion. Also the ear changed, and he had this irritation of skin around his nose. It's like orange peel skin. How everything started with Yushenko. Strong headaches, vomiting, eyes got sore, unnatural color of his face, strong pain in the spine. They had to put in the catheter for constant pain management. Not correct diction and paralysis of his face. Total damage to the guts, esophagus, ulcers, pancreatitis, colitis, cysts, and all kinds of ulcers on his bodies. He had to change 3-4 shirts a day. It is important to know that leprosy is infectious so much that you just can get it while you talk, if you approach person not further than 1 meter. But when you get infected, you may not go fully with the illness. You may not become sick, really. You can become sick with it in 20-30 years after infection. That's the onset of illness can be. So that's what the scientists said. And look at the Bill Clinton as well, whom they said had cancer. So I believe the clairvoyant who said that she was from Kazakhstan, she said that Hilary Clinton and had leprosy. She got it from Timoshenko, who got it from that former President Yushenko. So anyways, blog of Victor Lazorica. This was posted on 19th of August 2008. Point of view: Yushenko has leprosy. The bluffing about dioxin. Is the version about being poisoned a bluff? Russian scientists claim that Ukrainian president was not poisoned. He was ill with leprosy, with the most infectious form. Igor Gundarev, doctor of medicine and member of Academy of Russian Science, 4 years ago claimed Viktor Yushchenko, former president of Ukraine, was not poisoned by dioxin as British claimed, but he is very ill and poses danger for people surrounding him. He has been collecting evidence and now he is publishing the book. This contains photos of him already 2 months before so-called poisoning. This was July 2004. These were the signs on his face already before so-called poisoners, where the errors are. The places of his skin become red, and they become being they turn into rough skin already. And this is right here. This is 2004. So we decided to meet with the author of the book. Igor Alexeyevich, what moved you to start your own investigation? Why would you decide that there was no dioxin poisoning in Yushenko case? Once I was studying for work in Asia and Africa, and I was getting very close acquainted with tropical illnesses, including leprosy. Yes, leprosy. My first thesis was about it, and when I saw Yushenko's face, I understood immediately that it's namely it, and this is in our students' variant, where there are all signs on the face that even medical students can know. For example, there are such notions as stigmas. These are symptoms which appear only in one certain disease. That's when you see this stigma, you by 100% know that this is the disease. Let me list the stigmas of lepra. Only lepra can change face up to being unrecognizable. Only lepra damages the earlobes so that they become hanging like earrings. Only lepra can change the ear shell, and it has this specific drawing to it. And only lepra during its critical phase has this mask of a lion, and it becomes such dim expression on the face. These are four stigmas in my view present in Yushenko at the same time. But this is highly infectious. It means that everybody who had contact with Yushenko are at risk. I, in my book, exactly trying to calculate how many people he could have infected in 4 years. Let me remark that of all kinds of leprosy, Yushenko has the most infectious lepromatosic and form. According to my estimates, out of 1,000 regular contacts, 300 will get infected, and those who will get seriously ill will be 30. Is this a mortal illness? No, but the life becomes very unbearable. Why are you not happy with the version of poisoning? There was no poisoning. Remember his first 3 months after starting off medical examinations, including in Austral Clinic Rudolfiner House. There was no dioxin found. The doctors said there is no poison, there is no poisoning. Only the director of his election bureau, Zinchenko, could see that this is an interesting case and they can use it. And then he had a claim that it was poisoning. Then Ukrainian politician went to Austria and started to press on the doctors, and they were broken, except for the head doctor, who was very strong on his principle and said there was no dioxin. Then he was fired, and then he had to file a court claim to be restored at his job. Why dioxin was the claim? They thought that the course of illness is similar, although symptoms of poisoning by dioxin are different. That's why falsification of his tests and lab research was faked, and in different laboratories, so-called dioxin was different count. There was no technology because they were in a rush. So the media started to lie. So it couldn't fluctuate because dioxin is a stable poisoning, and it disintegrates only after 5-7 years. There are no antidotes, and it's not in the blood, it's in the tissues. It should have been resolved very soon and go into the fat. You said that dioxin expresses itself differently. How so? In 85% of cases it appears as acne. Only thing different that in the middle of it has a black dot. This can be recognized by dermatologists. Yushenko had no acne in the beginning. First he had some kind of uneven parts, then redness, then these uneven parts became larger and larger, and they fused together. And his doctor wrote that they were hard as bones. Yes, they were hard because and acne never expressed itself like that. In 2004, the legend about dioxin helped Yushenko to win elections in Ukraine. Why is he not treating himself? First 3 years he was being treated from dioxin poisoning. Of course, the result is zero. Half a year ago, he had some improvement. I think that they finally made that correct diagnosis, and they started to do plastic surgery on him. Yushenko himself said that he had undergone 24 surgeries. So before there was seen lepromas on his face, now there's just scars. So in 2007, Yushenko went to see the doctor 67 times, although he claimed that he had wonderful health. This was 2 years before the election. Yes, 7 times he went to see the doctor 7 times during 1 month. And what kind of diagnosis he had? These were very difficult, puzzling for doctors. He did sports, so he had a lot of symptoms. He had some neurology between his ribs and paralysis on his face, and many damages to his skin. Some diagnoses before were atypical herpes. So you think that the election provoked the acute illness? Of course, all the medical commissions show that the sick person has long-standing chronic infection, and only that it became in its acute phase during election. Only the doctor suggested that it was herpes. In order to have precise diagnosis, they need to do a research, and Yushenko refused to be researched in the Ukraine. I wrote him an open letter in order to put the scene off my chest, and I addressed him directly. I said, "You are sick." I was sure that my letter will not reach him, but I was hoping that people who are sane, at least they will see what is clearly stated. So I, as epidemiologist, with horror see that there are Guam, NATO, European Union members, politicians sitting beside him, and Merkel drinks from the same cup as him. This is a bioaggression against the highest political powers. So, as we know, Hilary Clinton also had this catheter put in her, and she had these falling episodes, just like that. That Yushenko president had this comrade Timoshenko, and then Timoshenko also got sick and got into the wheelchair. Surprisingly, Hilary Clinton also had this acute form when she was at the elections. So it can be in the dormitory state, like dormant state, for about up to 40 years, and then it goes into this very difficult mode. So then they claim that Hilary uses a double, Hilary did plastic surgery. Of course, this was all to hide the leprosy, and they claim that the husband had cancer. And Hilary Clinton, without any problem, is teaching classes, I think, in Columbia University, and continues to meet with her liberal constituents.